Greetings. Welcome to another episode of the Jump Off. And today we got some interesting topics to talk about, two in particular. And let's jump right into it. So, right now we have Jay-Z taking us back to where it all started by re releasing his first album. At the same time, we have LeBron with the world again awaiting the decision 2.0. Both have hinted at greatness to come, but are also currently reflecting on the point in where they began their path to greatness. And I don't think anyone is surprised because greatness has a way of making people expect more greatness. So they're both revisiting the defining moments of their careers and the moments that ultimately changed everything for them. Not because they're looking backwards, but because when you've built a legacy, people always want to understand not only what you became, but how you became it. And undoubtedly, from beginning, they age like fine wine. So if you go down the rabbit hole, YouTube rabbit hole for both of these legends, you'll notice the contrast immediately from the raw version of themselves to the refined version of themselves today. There's a difference between unaged wine and vintage wine. And it's evident time didn't change who they were, it revealed who they always had the potential to be. And love them or hate them, they lived their lives on film for the majority of their lives. And that's one thing about film, it can be studied. And that's the opportunity we all are presented with. And I'm not here to get into any of the controversial things that a lot of other people have been a part of, but I can say that both of these people have very minimal controversial headlines in their name, a part that their names are a part of. But I'm more interested in what their journeys have revealed: the discipline, adaptability, willingness to evolve, the ability to shoulder pressure that most people can't even fathom. And even more impressively is their passing of the torch. Bronny is in the league and doing his thing with the Lakers. Bryce is on the way. Blue Ivy is actively performing at the sold out tour at the Yankee Stadium, and was on records before she could speak. So their legacies aren't just what they've built, but what they're passing on and what's being extended to the next generation. And I think not enough can be said about that. And not enough can be said about that as men. And there's not much more to be aspired to than building something that outlives you, especially through your own lineage. So, yeah, applied behavior analysis isn't only for the realm of academia and books. It's if you're aware and conscious of what is going on when you study greatness. When you're conscious and aware that you're witnessing greatness, you study instead of just consuming it. And when you do that, you begin to recognize the patterns that you can apply to your own life. But hey, that's some free game from your boy. But yeah, let's jump into the main event, the decision 2.0 that got the world in a frenzy. So let's see where LeBron is potentially going. So I got 5 destinations that I think are possible for him, or we all know which ones are on the list, but I would say 5 of them that are that makes sense and are very probable. We got the obvious Cleveland Cavaliers at 5, the never say nevers, because it is home. They do have a good roster and they have the relationship. And LeBron has already won the championship there. And I think, really LeBron already completed that chapter twice. He fulfilled the promise, delivered the championship, and came home. And at this point, it feels more like nostalgia than a necessity. And in the great words of Joakim Noah, what's so good about Cleveland? He did mention that he wants to go somewhere that's purely his decision. I think he has a lifetime to be back home. And yeah, I don't think he chooses that with all the other cities that are available to him, with him having that real, you know, ever since he left Cleveland and came back that one time, I think, I don't think it's something that he's excited about doing, especially for his last hurrah. At the 4th spot, this is something that I believe is a polarizing destination for him. This is where, the start of the list gets interesting because, all these other ones are huge players, but I think that's purely for nostalgia at the 5 spot, the Cleveland Cavaliers. But Bron gets to be a second option with Steph Curry. So him having a notorious, I would say, reputation for being the best point guard ever. Not the best point guard that's not a point guard. But yeah, with the greatest shooter of all time is something that is to be enamored about, because or enamored with, because Steph and Draymond are already a crazy tandem when it comes to, playing off each other, and like, with the pick and roll game that they have going. I think that only gets enhanced once you add LeBron into that, with his ability to see the game with the ball. Bron, well, with or without the ball, but Steph Curry being a great off-ball player, a great shooter, and having Draymond set screens and do all the things that don't show up on the stat sheet that make Steph Curry perform at the level that he does, as well as bringing the attitude and whatnot to the defense. I think that is something that is a crazy combination between that trio. Not to mention that they are 3/5 of a Team USA roster. So yeah, I think that's something that is crazy to be discovered. But yeah, I think that's something that is more intellectual than a lot of people believe, as far as like the IQ of the game, because all three of them understand the game at a high level, and putting that much brain power together. And the Western Conference is very young. I think that is something that's to be watchful for if that were to happen. But yeah, I think that's a lot of IQ for a young Western Conference. Um, at the 3 spot, I got Minnesota, and this is where it really gets hot. So we already seen what Anthony Edwards has done and proven that he can lead a deep playoff run, and they've just picked up LaMelo Ball, which gives Minnesota one of the most dynamic backcourts in the entire league. I would say the closest comparison we got next is Dame and Ja Morant, who are over there in Portland. And I think that's, you know, gonna be problems. Not to mention they have Io DeSumo, Rudy Gobert, who were both instrumental in that deep playoff run that they had. Now imagine LeBron being added to that mixture of Ant, LaMelo, like those two great scorers learning from one of the greatest minds to ever touch a basketball is crazy. Not to mention Bron's history of making his teammates better. Ant's already flashed, flashes of Jordan in this game. And you add LeBron's IQ and to his already killer instinct when it comes to scoring the ball, I think that makes Ant an astronomical player. Not to mention that he's already up for, the face of the league between him and Wembanyama. So I can't really put together what it would do, but we all know that would be something that's crazy. You add LeBron's IQ and leadership to that playmaking of Ant and LaMelo, it's hard to find a ceiling for that. Like, but yeah, that is my number 3 spot. At 2 is where it really get hotter than hot. We got him taking his talents back down to South Beach. The Miami Heat have added Giannis, his brothers, Bobby Portis, and we still got Bam Adebayo down there in Miami. That's a fascinating roster because of the sheer size at all of the positions that we're able to, fill on the starting lineup. Like Bam can score and defend any and everywhere on the court. We've seen that when we've gotten that 83. You can't sleep on that. We got that 83, but he has also always been prominent on defense. So you add LeBron to that, you got Bron, Giannis, Bobby Portis, Tim Hardaway Jr. for our sharpshooter. You got Ryan Conwell, just got drafted, elite sharpshooter, rookie. That's paint domination with elite kick out ability, penetration, and kick out to elite shooters. Giannis dominant in the paint. Bobby Portis dominant in the paint. Lethal in that corner. A pure basketball standpoint, this may be one of the most complete rosters because of the championship experience of multiple players, veteran leadership, and enough talent that LeBron might, have a few moments to where, he feels like he can, dish the ball or go and, be that number one option some of them nights whenever he feels like it. But I think, at 41, he's looking for that third option spot. And I think it ain't too much. It don't get that much better than this. That's why I got them at number 2. But I think in this offense, he still has to be ball dominant because which I'm sure he doesn't mind because he's been getting the Magic Johnson comparisons his whole life, all since he's been in the league. But he got heck of options to pass it to. Like there's so many ways this offense can go, or this game. Yeah, because defense is locked, but offense, I don't know if it's gonna be Lob City. Like it ain't. It's just too many pieces that you just gotta see. But yeah, Giannis already down in Miami, putting in work, getting that cohesion with the team, and that's just a scary roster because it's so many big guys on that roster that's versatile. Like Bam dropped 83. Like even playing the 4 and the 5. Now you got Bobby Portis and Giannis, who actually can play the 4 and the 5 primarily. Like, where does that leave Bam? Like, is he gonna be a 3? He could be a 2. Like, it don't. It's really crazy. You can have Braun running it at the 1. Like, the possibilities are endless. Like that roster and the level because they're all elite players. 3 elite players. Bron, Giannis, bam. I think them 3 can beat some teams just on their own. But, they got the help. The number 1 spot, which is another scary situation, being that they just made a, blockbuster trade themselves. Philadelphia 76ers, in the addition of LeBron James and the new acquisition of Jaylen Brown, like, I think that gives LeBron the opportunity to be the third option that he wanted to be, and it frees him from being ball dominant because you do have Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey, who are 2 guards. Well, hey, that's another a good guard combination that you could put in there with Dame, Ja, Melo, and then you got Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey. Don't sleep on that, because those are 2 great guards right there. But yeah, Tyrese Maxey's elite speed, ball handling, I think that's causing a lot of, problems in the league, in addition to, Bron's passing ability. His cutting, because Maxey like to get to the rim. He shoot that thing sometime, but he gets to that rim. But Jaylen Brown, another slasher. So 2 slashing guards. LeBron with his passing. He still can score that thing too. He still get up there. Don't sleep on that, his scoring ability. But right now, I think he's shifting into the more IQ and making his teammates better, passing the ball. Like, I think that's the role he's looking to play and move into. And I think this roster gives him the flexibility to do that and the certainty, because all these players, Maxey, Jaylen Brown, they come to play every night. VJ Edgecombe, young dude, gaming. He comes to play every night. Joel Embiid, he has his injuries and whatnot, but when Joel Embiid plays, it ain't too many big men that's better than him all time. It's not too many. 2018 Joel Embiid, you talking about belt? Come on, man. Joel Embiid shooting that thing, catching alleys. Like, if he get the rest in that paint, like, for real, I don't see too many moving him off that block for real. Like, he living in that paint with Braun passing, Maxey and Jaylen Brown slashing, coming to that rim. That's a crazy situation. But yeah, man, Philly got a young core. They also have meaningful experience. They got Jaylen Brown and his IQ, which will allow him to absorb, the schemes and concept that LeBron can, come up with on the fly, and that won't blow his mind like they did Austin Reeves when they started playing together back in LA. And I think having 2 people on the floor that can understand the game at a high level is tremendous, especially with them being, primary ball handlers. So, yeah, I think that's something to look out for, even with them, if that were to occur. But Maxey and Jaylen Brown, I think, is a dangerous combination alone. But yeah, Bron to any of these teams is a scary situation. Also, a very probable situation. So yeah, at 41, Philadelphia and they roster they got right now is championship basketball. And yeah, that's a crazy situation when you think about it. But outside of basketball is what interests me even more, and that's the lesson of Jay-Z and LeBron reminding us that legacy is built through decisions, the decision to start climbing, and the discipline to keep going. Like looking back isn't always about looking in the past and reminiscing and dwelling on something. Sometimes it's to recognize and acknowledge how steep the climb has been in your ascent to greatness. So yeah, in moments of great decisions, reflection is reflection is essential. It's been another great episode of the Jump Off. I am your host with the most, Doug the Organic One, and I'm out.